What up, Razzballers? Welcome back to another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. It is Fantasy Football Championship weekend. We got your live start sit show for Week 17 right now on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. I am your host, Sky Guasco. You can find me on X at Sky Guasco. I am joined by the one and only Mr. Derek Favret. After a couple week bye week, that's what happens when you win so many games during the season. We just give you multiple buys. Derek had some vacation time saved up, little PTO for the fantasy football squad. So you've been out and about, my man. Nice to have you back. The rest of the boys are hanging out. You can find everything Razzball at Razzball NFL on X, of course, on our website at football.razzball.com. All of our amazing writers and articles exclusive to you for free available. And best part of that is these tools will last on the website all the way until next year when we update them and retool them. You can use them for all of your breaking down. We will be with you for the NFL playoffs with some DFS work, with some questions, with some NFL recaps on the season, some of our awards for fantasy football, some of our positional breakdowns, what to look forward to in 2026. We're not going anywhere. We're taking you all the way through the Super Bowl, a brief hiatus in the spring, get ready for baseball season, and we will be right back with you for 2026. So don't go anywhere. And again, if you are interested in joining us for the listener leagues, please reach out to us. You're more than welcome to drop a comment on any of our articles at football.razzball.com and just let us know you're interested. We'll gather some information for you, and we'll get you ready for the drafts coming up next July and August for 2026. Of course, you can also hit up any of us on X as well and let us know. Or frankly, you could just jump in the chat right now and tell us that you're interested, and we'll gather some information from you. Dave, Jeff, and Maddie are on a bye week themselves as well, a little holiday hangover. They're getting ready for their championships this weekend as well. So Derek and I will take you through about an hour. We're looking forward to about noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time this morning so we can make sure that we get our lineups ready to go for this weekend as well. Of course, we have 5 games in the books already that have happened over the weekend. I like to see that. Washington put up quite a fight against Dallas, but Dallas gets the win. Minnesota, the upset over Detroit. Kansas City's reign is over. 9 years in a row as the AFC West champions. They are no longer. Denver handles business against them. Houston beats up on LA. The Chargers come up short last night as well. And Baltimore Ravens show up maybe a little too late. Derrick Henry, a measly 200 plus and 4 touchdowns on the ground last night, probably already solidifying or denying some fantasy football championships. There's a lot going on here. We got the rest of the games for you, some weather breakdowns, and some listener league updates. But I've said enough. Derek, welcome back, my man. Good morning. What are you looking forward to in Week 17 for your championships?
Yeah, thanks, Guy. Thankful that I'm not running into Derrick Henry anywhere
The Yeti.
today. Yeah. So I'm in one championship. Matt and I share a team. Our primary friends and family league that we've been in for 20 years. Really competitive one. We won it last year. We won the regular season, so we're in the finals. But we're up against it. Although we were last year too. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we had. Jahmyr Gibbs carry us all year, but he came up short this weekend. That was tough. And then Cortland Sutton as well, dropping a couple touchdown passes would have really been nice. But so we're a little behind the 8 ball, but a lot of football left to be played. So we're good.
I love that. And as I mentioned, we'll be turning the corner here on the Razzball platform in general to baseball coming up in a couple weeks. Derek, my birthday is in middle February. And it's always the weekend or the weekend before pitchers and catchers report. It's just like since I was a little kid, it was like my favorite time of year when I when they put that out, like pitchers and catchers report. I'm like, I'm going to get older here pretty soon. That's amazing. So pretty stoked for baseball. All of us here on the football side, we're all baseball heads as well. And of course, The flagship of Razzball is the baseball side. Derek's been a writer for years. Matt's been a writer for years. Dave's been a writer. I was a writer early on as well. So make sure you check out the baseball platform if you're not already. If you're doing fantasy baseball, make sure to check out all those tools. Gray and Deep Beat On and everybody else on the other side are doing such a great job breaking down baseball and getting you ready for those drafts coming up here in the next couple of months as the calendar turns. So please check out the baseball side as well.
Yeah, no doubt Rudy's working hard in his laboratory, getting those projections all ready to go.
Absolutely. And a big shout out to Rudy as well, who helps us so much behind the scenes, not on the program with us here and isn't a part of the writing crew with baseball, but doing so much of the orchestration behind the scenes, making sure our tools are nice and pretty and well updated. So Rudy, we appreciate you and everybody else there as well. All right, as you're rolling in here, please make sure to drop in your comments. And for always, let us know your league settings. If you'd like to jump the line and hit us with a super chat, feel free to do that. Any contribution is greatly appreciated, but not mandatory. We will get to all questions this morning. Like I said, we are targeting probably about noon Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific to shut down today, just so we have some time to make sure our lineups are primo, set some DFS lineups and do our thing this morning as well. Should we have more work, we'll stick around for you, of course, but make sure you get those questions in right away. Derek, we have our Pick'em challenge, of course. Matt's been leading the pack for most of the year. You and Jeff have been hot on his tail. Dave has been up and down. I have been a little too interesting this season, and I actually have been quite good at Pick'ems over the years. But this year I got a little too excited early. I was riding teams like Baltimore, who just frankly weren't winning every week when I thought that they would.
Yeah.
I was picking easy picks like Buffalo, and they were coming up short every once in a while. So certain teams that I thought would be just crushing it weekly, Dallas, things like that, Minnesota, Detroit, even the chalk picks, if you will, came up a little bit short. So I've been struggling in the pick'em sector. You've been kind of on Matt's tail by about 3 to 5 game distance all season long. But you always have 1 to 3 teams that are just completely rogue from everybody else. Obviously, it's risky, but when you get that actual win and the rest of us don't, you jump that game, right? So, like, do you have a strategy with Pick'em, or are you kind of just gut feeling? Like, how do you go about those every week?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of gut. I mean, obviously we do a lot of stats work here and in preparation for not only our leagues but the show and everything. So I use some of that, just that knowledge. But it's more of a gut feel. I do like picking some upsets. I look for those. I specifically look down the line to see which ones are potential upsets. So I tend to migrate to those first and then just fill in everything else with the chalk. So I do look for them. I do like to try to find one or two every now and then. We always see a week where there are 5 upsets or something, and those are sporadic. We don't see them often, but boy, when they hit and you have a couple of them, it's really nice. But yeah, unfortunately, I, I tend to get a little interesting sometimes as well, and that's why I'm still chasing Matt and Jeff. Actually, Jeff is kind of snuck quietly,
Mm-hmm.
just like his Jaguars, just kind of quietly snuck right up into the mix. So he's ahead of me as well by 1 game, and Matt's ahead of me by 4 games. So with 2 weeks left, I probably won't catch him, but we'll see. He hasn't picked his main slate today, so maybe Jeff and I will both pass him if he doesn't get it in by 1 o'clock.
There you go. We do have deadlines here at the
That's right.
Razzball Fantasy Football
No
Show.
mercy. No mercy.
No mercy. You did pick up a game last week. You went 10-6 overall. He was 9-7. Ironically, I actually had one of my bet. I think I've had 2 or 3 11 win weeks. Now, of course, we have about a month before bye weeks, and now we've had a couple weeks after bye weeks, so we have less than 16 total matches throughout the season as we have bye weeks. But last week I was 11-5, led the pack. You were 10-6. Matt was 9-7. And the rest of the boys behind us. Just want to cover a couple of these games here where we get our questions rolling in here. Just the discrepancies between you and I really quick on the pick'em. There's only about 3 games that we disagree on. Just want to get your thoughts. So we're looking at the morning slate here. Pittsburgh at Cleveland, divisional game. Cleveland always has shitty weather. We have a lot of rain in the forecast throughout the country, so we'll kind of get through that today. Rain doesn't affect necessarily unless it's a monsoon or it's very, very cold, but we do have some rain, so we'll cover that as we get into games. Um, I went with the quote unquote chalk pick. Pittsburgh has much more on the line, still playoff eligible, ready to go. They obviously have that over 500 record again for the 19th season consecutive, I believe, for Mike Tomlin. But you're going with the dogs here.
Yep.
The dog pound in Cleveland. You got the Browns coming up. So what gives you hope that the 3-win Browns will upset Pittsburgh today in Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean Pittsburgh should win this game, but this if this is not a the definition of a game that you look beyond. Uh, I know Pittsburgh, they win, they're done, and they're in, and Baltimore's out. But with Baltimore winning last night, it just sets up for a nice win, and you're in next week against the Ravens, and with Metcalf out too. Not that he's been carrying the team by any means, but I think there's enough there that just gives me some hope that the Brownies can come pull one in, is stick it to their rivals, make them play the early playoff game next week against the Ravens. So we'll see, and it's at home, in Cleveland. So I think there's a number of things that just give me a little bit of hope that they can overcome, what should be a motivated Steelers team to get this done and make next week irrelevant. But I don't know. I'll give that one a shot. We'll see what
I
happens.
like I like it, and there's a like you said, we pick these games every week. We go with the team we think we're going to win. We have no spreads, okay, and what we do. It's just straight up pick them. So who's going to win the game? And all of us, outside of maybe an obvious upset, like this one's an obvious, the Browns shouldn't win the game. It's the NFL. They definitely could. 90% of my picks, I'm like, why would Tennessee beat Kansas City? Like, they're just not going to. And then football happens and they do it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
this is a classic interdivisional. These guys have been playing together for 100 years. Um, the Browns are the Browns, but this is that time of year where anything can happen. Miles Garrett over under half a sack today, Derek.
You got to
Rodgers
take.
isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Over a half,
Does he
zero
get
point
his
five.
sack? Does he get his sack for the record today?
Yes. Yeah. I think he pads it actually. So
Pads it. Okay, so we'll have a couple there. So not that we condone betting, but if we did, we might throw a shilling or two on a sack for
yeah.
for Miles Garrett. So an incredible season nonetheless. A lot of fun. You and I are OGs. We've seen some of these guys have these other record-breaking seasons over the last 20, 30 years, and it's been pretty incredible when you have an individual um, performance like he has. And we don't talk about defense ever really on fantasy football shows, but what Miles Garrett's doing on a horrendously miserable team for his whole career is just really, really impressive. So I hope he gets it today as well. Okay, heading
We do
down the
have
list here.
we do have one question in if you want to get to that
Let's
early,
do
and
it. Yeah,
then we
sure.
can keep talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's get it. Jeffrey, good morning. Welcome back, my man. Uh, Patriots locking things up today here as well. I like to see that. All right, we got a question here. Who would you start out of the three? We have Drake London, Trevion Henderson, and Tyler Warren. PPR, 1 point for touchdown. Okay, tight end premium, PPR league. Um, boy, Drake London in and out of the lineup, been beat up for the last month and a half. Trevion Henderson has been Derrick Henry or disappeared pretty much this season, and Tyler Warren was probably our favorite tight end draft pick early this season. But with Philip Rivers coming in since Daniel Jones went down, Tyler Warren's kind of been obsolete, unfortunately. However, it is a tight end premium league, so usually it's a half point. In this one, it's a full point extra in PPR. Derek, for anyone unfamiliar with tight end premium, so Drake London, Trevion Henderson, or Tyler Warren in a flex position in a tight end premium PPR.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty interesting question, and it's relevant to me as well because I own Tyler Warren. in the league that Matt and I are in the championship for. It's not a premium, but we own Warren and picked up Brenton Strange as well. So we're kind of deciding between the two. We're actually leaning towards Brenton Strange and the Jaguars now that the Colts don't have anything to play for. It just kind of takes a little steam off of that one, and so we're actually going away from Tyler Warren today, and I'm looking as I'm talking here. I'm looking at the tight end ranks versus defenses, and uh, Jaguars. Where are they? Where are they? They're pretty friendly, but the Colts are even friendlier. So Colts are fifth friendly in fantasy points to tight ends, and Jaguars are eighth friendliest. So both are pretty good matchups. So we're leaning towards Strange, but I don't mind Warren. Henderson is back from concussion protocol, but how much? The question there to me is how much are they going to really need to play Travion Henderson this week? Honestly, they've got a couple players out, so he might get some early work. I'm just a little worried that with Boutte and Hollins both out, I think he'll get some work, but will they need to give him a full load coming right back from that, or could they ease him back and just lean a little more heavier on Stevenson, which is kind of what I think they're going to do. And like you mentioned, Drake London being out for a while. We're going up against the Rams. Not an ideal matchup for London for Kirk Cousins. Rams need to win this to stay in the hunt for the number one overall. Whether they get there or not, but I think that it's going to be a tough sledding for London. So I positives and negatives on all three of them. So for me, I think I would lean taking a shot at the premium points with Warren and just see what you get. That neither one of the other two, to me, have enough upside to really make up that difference for the premium points with Warren. Let me just check one more thing here real quick as I'm talking. Yeah, so even with Phillip Rivers, I mean, he is getting 6 to 9 targets per game still. He's not making a lot of catches, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Rivers is just not getting the ball in there. I watched him last week play, and the ball is just if you just could picture Warren just waiting for the ball to be zipped in there, and it's really more, there's not a lot of steam behind Rivers passes, and it just seems like they're floating a little bit, and Warren is just not ready for the lighter touch that he's getting now. So I think that has a lot to do with the fact that he's although he's getting the targets, he's not getting the receptions, but he's a pro, he'll adjust. So a long-winded response for me, Jeff. Sorry about that, but I think I'm going to lean going with Warren and the 1 point premium. Hope for the 6 to 8 targets again against the Jaguars. Maybe trying to play spoiler. The Colts playing spoiler. 4 or 5 receptions for 50 yards with the premium. That'll give you a double digit. So I'll go with that.
I want to play Trevion just because he's the most exciting, but coming down with that concussion, as you mentioned, Derek, I mean, what should happen, we talked about pick'ems earlier. Here's what should happen. The Patriots and Jets play 10 minutes of football, and the Patriots are up 3 touchdowns. The game's over. They pull their starters. That's what's supposed to happen. It's in Jersey. It's outside. It's bad weather, which it would be in New England too, but nonetheless. And Ramondre is playing really well. And the Patriots, frankly, just need to be healthy, continue to have the W, and get the hell out of there. If Trevion plays much, my only thing that makes me want to play Trevion is that the Jets are horrendous against the run. They're absolutely terrible. But again, we talk about this with the Browns. Divisional matchup. Anything can happen in these games. Drake May might play a quarter and bounce. It's like half a preseason game if they get up like that. I'm a little bit nervous about it, and him being uncomfortable with the concussion. Same goes for Drake London. The good news is Drake London has 8 targets at least in every single game this year, except for week 2 when he had 4 against Minnesota. He's been out a month, came back last week. He had 8 targets, but just 3 catches for 27 yards. So they're just not on the same page right now, him and Cousins. And the Rams are not as scary as you would think they would be with an overall great defense against wide receivers, but this is a must win for them, right? And I think they just clamp down on Monday night. And I don't really want to wait till Monday night in my championship. I got to be honest with this hanging in the balance because they're not going to have a lot of backups. So I don't love Tyler Warren right now, Phillip Rivers either, with everything you just said. But with the other two guys beat up, untrustworthy quarterbacks, along with, or not quarterbacks, but situations and injuries, I think I got to roll with the tight end premium here as well. If this wasn't tight end premium, you probably wouldn't even have Tyler Warren in the conversation. So maybe I go with Travion a little easier. But for me, I got to go Tyler Warren with the catches, the yardage, and who knows, he might even fall into the end zone. I think a lot of us were hoping he would be 30% of Antonio Gates back in the heyday with Phillip Rivers, and unfortunately, he just frankly hasn't been. But again, this is the same thing with like the divisional thing this week, right? There's a lot of bad teams playing great teams, but this time of year, we see bad teams beat good teams in division because they know each other so well. So I don't expect the Colts to win against the Jaguars, but they've been quite competitive. And if Brock Purdy doesn't throw 5 touchdowns last week, they actually played pretty well otherwise against the 49ers. So I'm going to roll with Tyler Warren reluctantly, but Trevion and Drake London make me a little bit too nervous this week.
You're welcome, Jeff. Thanks for joining
All
us
right.
today.
Appreciate you, Jeff. So let's get back to the pick'ems here. You have so you're going Cleveland over Pittsburgh. We're both going Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, New England, Carolina, Cincinnati, the New York Football Giants to beat the Raiders / the Raiders to make sure that they lose this game. If there was a team other than Myles Garrett and Mike Trout that I wish would do whatever they have to do to leave their franchise, it would be Max Crosby. You know me, number one Raider hater, grew up that way. I respect them when they were in Oakland because they're the Bay and that's what we do. And the Raiders and A's used to be cool. But now that they're in Vegas, I don't really care. Max Crosby is rotting in Chokeland, and I feel terrible for the guy. Genty, too, and a few of these other dudes. But the Raiders have made it incredibly obvious and unprofessional this week, sending him home with injuries. And Ashton Genty is going to be fenned out to the Wolves today. But both of these teams have to lose. The loser of the Giants and Raiders game gets the number 1 pick. So everybody else is fighting for playoff spots. The Giants and Raiders are so good that they're actually hoping to lose the game somehow in order to get the number 1 pick. So we're both going with the Giants there for the Raiders to blow it. And the next 2 that we have mixed up here is the last game of the afternoon slate, which is Philly and Buffalo, which a lot of people thought was a Super Bowl preview. If either one of these teams loses today, they could be in tough trouble here heading into the playoffs. I've got Philly. This game is in Buffalo. You're going with the home team with the Bills. Other than Josh Allen, one of those like trivia, like without saying Josh Allen, how do the Bills beat Philadelphia today?
Yeah, well, he who must not be named. that's it. He's back to MVP form. I mean, frankly, he's carrying this team. And he and Cook. I mean, Cook has just been a monster, and you can run against Philly. So, I like there's boy, if they had some wide receivers, they would just be the overwhelming AFC favorite in my mind. But they just don't, and they've got some injuries at tight end too. So, just between the two guys on the ground, one at quarterback, one at running back. I mean, they'll carry this team, and you kind of alluded to it earlier. Buffalo's lost a couple games this year that they should have won, no question about it. And that, not to get overly, cliche, but I mean, that's a professional team in the sense that they've been, in the mix for a while, and taking some of those losses and to see how they're rebounding now. I mean, they're getting hot at the right time, and that's what you need at, when you're going into the playoffs, regardless of your seed. The hot team that's really rolling and clicking can go all the way, and Buffalo's starting to, put coals in that engine, and starting to steam forward. So where Philly's just been just, I mean, they're winning some games, but it's not the same Philly team that we saw win the Super Bowl last year. It's just not, and it wouldn't it wouldn't surprise me at all to see them bounced early in the playoffs. And this is a playoff matchup, no doubt. And so to me, it just feels like Buffalo is moving the right way, and Philly is either stagnant or just treading water, or actually slipping a little bit. And I think that could be easily be exposed today by a Buffalo team that's really trying to ascend, going into the playoffs. So that's why I like Buffalo. Um, Home field helps there too, but I just think that these two teams are, one's moving forward, the other one's not necessarily moving backwards, but they're just not really moving so well. And so I do like Buffalo.
We talked earlier about the Browns potentially upsetting the Pittsburgh Steelers in Cleveland. You would have to agree that right now the Buffalo Bills are a better team than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is that correct?
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
The Browns last week never led the game, but they had the Bills reeling the entire week, and the Bills only won that game 23-20.
Hmm.
The Browns haven't had anything to play for since like '96 or whatever the hell it was. Actually, I don't think they were a team in '96, but you get the point. Shout out Derek Anderson. My point is, Buffalo unfortunately has not put teams away the way that great teams should. Last week they beat Cleveland 23-20. They beat New England 35-31. They beat Cincinnati 39-34, but all these games within a touchdown. Their losses this year against Houston, I mean, Houston nobody talks about, and they're probably the best team in the AFC outside of Denver, New England right now. And they lost to the Dolphins, right? Talk about a divisional game. They lost to the Dolphins there. They lost to the Falcons early this season, and they lost to New England the first time they played by a field goal. So there's 2 or 3 L's in there that they shouldn't have. So hopefully Buffalo gets right for Buffalo fans. For me, you could say the same thing for Philadelphia. And I think Philly comes out hungry. They need to get right in a hurry, or they're just going to be bounced right away. Like Jalen Hurts is not scaring anybody. Saquon's not Saquon. Their defensive line that is so dominant when healthy isn't healthy. Their secondary is not as good as it used to be. Their wide receivers are great with A.J. Brown finally getting fed targets, but unfortunately, they're not dominating because they just don't throw the ball as much. And when they do, Philly doesn't win the game. That's not their MO. So I don't know what they're going to do there. They were on a 3-game skid against the Chargers, the Bears, and the Cowboys before they beat the Commanders and Raiders, who are not good teams, obviously. They have the Commanders coming up next week as well. They lost to the Giants and the Broncos. So there's 4 L's in there that Philly should have won too. They're an unpredictable team. I just feel like for some reason it's my gut call today that they show up. But Buffalo being home, I mean, they're supposed to win this game. I just feel like this is one of those like NFL upsets for some reason. Everybody's got Buffalo and chalk needing to win it at home with everything on the line, and Philly would just be an upset for me today. So we'll see. The other one, Derek, is San Francisco and Chicago. I'm a biased Niners fan, no question about it. I just feel like the 49ers, if Brock Purdy's playing 80% of what he did on Monday night against the Colts, against the Bears, I feel like the Niners are in good shape. They're healthy right now outside of George Kittle. And Chicago's been a lot of fun. I'm not a Chicago hater. Matt's not here, so we can talk about them openly if you'd like to. However, I just feel like the Niners being at home with the conference and the division on the line, as it is for Chicago, but they've been there, done that. I feel like this is a prove it, solidify game for the 49ers.
Yeah, honestly, I think San Francisco's going to win this game. This is one of those makeup games for me. Try to make up some some room in the standings. Chicago, they're a great story, and they're winning some games. Odunze being out this week really kind of hampers their chances, I think, of going into San Francisco to win that game. But it's a good test for them, frankly. They'll be one of the top seeds in the playoffs, and they're going to have to win a game like this. So, do I think? I mean, would I put money on this? No, I don't. I wouldn't put money on Chicago winning this game unless the odds are right. But I think it's a good test for them. They're certainly up and coming. They should win a game or two in the playoffs. I would pick Chicago to beat Philadelphia in the playoffs right
Me
now.
too.
You
Yeah,
know, but traveling to San Francisco is going to be a tough test for them. But I expect them to play this game like it's a playoff game. I expect them to be ready for that, and really just use it as a barometer of where they are. With one more week to go. So I think they'll be in it. They might be able to keep it close, maybe pull it out. But honestly, I think San Francisco's probably going to win. But there's enough juice here for me to try to sneak one in and kind of catch up to Jeff and Matt.
I like it. Well, respectfully, I hope you're horrendously wrong. I'll give you one of my other pick 'em wins so the 49ers can take this one. One other game I want to talk about, and then we'll get to the listener league standings and the update there with our listeners and all of our leagues there in the playoffs and the championship there. I wrote an article just updating everybody on who's who and where's where and where all the teams ended up. You can check that out at football.razzball.com. Not a lot of statistics or any stuff like that, just kind of a listing so everybody's aware of all the other leagues that they don't have access to. If you're interested in checking those out or want to see how we do it for next year and you can participate if you'd like to, just let us know you're interested. You and I are also going with Carolina at home in Carolina, 8-7, division on the line, against the juggernaut Seattle Seahawks, top seed in the NFC, 12-3. We're both going with Carolina over Seattle. I have my reasons. What are yours?
Well, yeah, obviously Seattle is if they're not the best team in the NFC, they're second best right now. But
They are by
traveling
record.
across country is not a joke, and we've seen it years for years, especially with Seattle. Going. You remember the year they traveled to New Orleans for the playoff game, and
Beastquake game, of course.
yes, and so there's something there. Carolina, this is their last stand. I mean, they've got to win this game to have any shot at the playoffs. And it's like you said before, it's the NFL. Anyone can win. Even the best team going across country to play an upstart Carolina team could lose. It could happen. So I'll take the shot. Take a shot. Obviously, Seattle -7.5 on the road. Carolina shouldn't be in this game, but this has been a strange year. So we could see Rico Dowdle again having 3 touchdowns. Like he did for a stretch of time a few weeks back. We could see Ted McMillan, solidify or make a push for the rookie of the year, with a big game against Seattle. So a lot of things could happen here. The weather's not great on the East Coast today. I don't know exactly what it is in Carolina, but there's enough here that could really just sway this thing, tilt it Carolina's favor. So I'm willing to take a chance at it.
The Carolina weather is actually Seattle weather. There's a chance of rain, should be some sprinkles or some misty, gross northwest weather in Carolina. So I don't think that hurts them at all. The biggest thing, I'm going to go Carolina too, and we shouldn't, but this is a gut call for me. Seattle's the number 1 seed in the NFC. Right now, Carolina's the number 4 seed because the NFL does this stupid thing, IMO. No offense, Roger, big fan of the show, but this is not how I would do things, where they take the top team of the division, no matter the record. You could have 2 wins on the season. If you have the most in your division, you are going to make a playoff slot. And even worse, Derek, you're going to host a playoff game. Call me participation trophy guy or something. But why don't we do some version of every other sport, which is just the best 8, 9 teams, period, no matter what division you're in. And the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Rams are number 1, 2, and 3 because they're the best teams in the NFC. Anyway, I digress. The biggest thing that sticks out here is the point differential. Listen to this. The Seahawks have a positive point differential, which is a nerd term for they've scored more points than they've given up on the whole season, right? In real NFL points. 164 more points scored than given up. One of the best offenses, one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the entire NFL. The Carolina Panthers, Derek, I would have you guess, but there's no chance you're close. So I'll just give it to you so I don't put you on the spot here. Negative 50
Wow.
point differential. They've given up 50 more points than they've scored this year, and they're leading the division. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the 11 seed, which of course right now is out of the playoffs, and they're number 2 in the South. So the Dallas Cowboys, the Lions, and the Minnesota Vikings are all eliminated from the playoffs in the NFC, and they all have a better record than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But unfortunately, that's how it goes. I'm with you. For me, this is one of those gut call trying to make up some ground. This is my Cleveland Browns pick, if you will. Um, Traveling across the country is a big deal, and I could just see it happening. A morning game, if you will, Seattle time, right? I'm a West Coast guy, heading to the East Coast, playing a game at what would be basically 10 a.m. My time. So making all that travel last night, or however they did that. So anyway, it could be a blowout. I could definitely see that, but I don't know, man. I think this game's close at minimum. I'll take the Carolina points. Maybe Seattle gets the dub, but this could be that upset. And if the Niners win out, they host all the way through the Super Bowl. If Seattle can win this game and beat San Francisco, they're the number 1 seed. Massive game next week, of course, obviously. But I don't know, man. I could see this being a trip up, or at least beating Seattle up against a formidable Carolina team who's gone hot and cold all year, but I think they could show up today at home with their whole season on the line as well.
Yeah, just to add to your stats there, I'm looking at the Panthers results over the year. 6 of their 8 wins have been by 3 points. Literally
And they
three,
beat
not
some.
not within 3 points, have been 3 points. 6 of their 8 wins, have just been a field goal. And then one of them, the other one was a touchdown win. So yeah, it makes sense.
Well,
The only win they've had that's been more than a touchdown was the 30-0 win in Week 3 versus the Falcons. Other than that, it's been within a touchdown or a field goal, literally a field goal.
and as we know, all you need is one, right? So these games get tough down to the wire. Sammy D throws a pick or two, you get a fumble, and if they can keep track of the game and have a nice run game and kill the clock, no matter what, I'm taking the under on this game. Bad weather, 2 run teams, 2 decent defenses. I think it's going to be a slugfest in Carolina. We'll see what happens there. Let's get back to another question or two.
Yeah, we do have one. Let's see. 1 second. There we go.
All right, GR, welcome back, buddy. Nice to see you again. Looking solid for the championship. We'd love to see that. But Trevion playing hurt. Hurts me going to play with Stevenson. Half PPR. We have Jawan. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jawan with Strange. Jawan Johnson versus Brenton Strange. And then at the flex, we have Samson playing for the Browns here today. Corum, another backup. BTJ, Dowdle, and Kenny Gainwell, Egbuka, or Stevenson. So we have lots of great options. You're in the championship, so all these guys are solid flex opportunities. But who are we starting in a half PPR league? We need a tight end, Derek, and a flex position.
Yeah, so I mentioned my situation before, and I'm actually playing Strange over Warren, and I would do the same thing here. Strange over Juwan Johnson. So I like that matchup. I think. Just look at Sunshine and how he's come on lately. I mean, he's talking about an MVP.
Yeah.
playing for an MVP shot or at least some votes. There's one there. So I think the Jaguars continue to roll, and Strange should be a part of that. So I'm gonna take the upside there, what I think is upside, and I'll go with Strange. Yeah, for the flex, uh, pick one. I'm I'm going to stay. Frankly, I'm going to stay with that Jaguars team and go Brian Thomas Jr. That's the one that stands out to me. Uh, I don't like Igbuka. I don't mind Stevenson. We talked just a little while ago. That although Henderson is back, we don't really expect him to play a significant role in this game if the game plays out the way it should. There's no reason to really give him the workload. Just going to get him back into the swing of things and lean on Stevenson. So I don't mind that, but if you've got BTJ there in the flex, I'm going to roll with that one.
Oh man, Jawan Johnson has been in my lineup all week long about 10 times in a few different leagues, and then Saturday night, Sunday morning, I flip him out for somebody else because I'm like, Saints. Do I trust Shuck? Olave's healthy. Blah blah blah. And 9 times out of 10, Jawan Johnson's been just fine for tight ends. Last week, 8 catches on 9 targets, 89 yards. He doesn't score because he's on the Saints. And this game's at Tennessee. I guess I'm with you with Brenton Strange, but I feel like either one of these guys is
Yeah.
safe. They're
Yeah,
both
I don't
safe.
think you can do wrong. Yeah, I
The
agree.
upside is Strange. Yeah, Strange has the touchdown upside because of the offense, and what should be a quote unquote shootout with Phillip Rivers, I guess. But one of the few games indoors today is that Colts Jags game, which I like a lot just for passing opportunities. Shuck is playing very well, and frankly, he's playing for his own job next year. So I like him a lot, and I think that we'll have to reevaluate the Saints next year based on Alvin Kamara and what he does and all that and stuff. But I like the future there for New Orleans. Today, I guess I would go Brenton Strange as well. And this is incredibly risky, and I hate to put GR's fantasy championships on the line. But if I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm leaning on Ramondre Stevenson today because I need Trevion as 100% as he can be heading into the playoffs next year. And again, Trevion might get early downs. He might even score. He could have a big run. He's great, whatever. If the Patriots got big, which they should, and they're going to quote unquote pull the starters, I'd pull Trevion and have Ramondre and whomever else handle the rest of the game and run out the clock.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about that this time of year, and I would hate to put my team on the line. I would love to throw Kenny Gainwell out there. He's been incredible. He's a sneaker in this, and of course we all want Igbuka, but he's just not Igbuka right now.
Yeah,
So
I
this
was
is
gonna.
really tough. But
I was actually gonna
Stevenson.
interject there as well. Kenny Gainwell, especially with Metcalf out, he's involved in the passing game, and that could be a sneaky play. Honestly, if you don't want to play, if you're going to lean Strange with us and you don't want to play two Jaguars, Kenny Gainwell is actually a sneaky play. I don't mind that one at all.
I agree. I agree. I'm double checking. Let's see. Browns are 17th against running backs. Obviously, that's because a lot of teams get up on them early and run out the clock. So those numbers are kind of funky sometimes. And then the Jets are just the worst. I mean, the Bengals technically are the worst, but they haven't been over the last month. It's been the Jets versus running back. So I'm with you. If this was it may not matter with a half point. If this is a full PPR league, it's half, correct?
It's half, yes.
Okay, just double checking.
Yeah.
Then I would exactly where I'm at with Jawan.
Oh, sorry. Let me put that
It's
back up
okay.
for you.
It's okay. I got you. The opponent is playing Taysom Hill, and Trevion and Jalen Warren. Yeah, it's funny playing all the opposites.
Yeah.
If it was full PPR, Derek, and I'm going to get 7 checkdowns for whatever from Kenny Gainwell, I love it. Uh, and honestly, against Miles Garrett, Aaron might just be like,
Yeah.
unless he pulls a Favre, and helps the guy out. I think he would just be checking it down all day long. But for me, I just like the matchup against the Jets, and it's a really tough one, man. I might regret this in a couple hours, but I'm going to stick with Ramondre Stevenson today.
All right. Good luck to you, GR. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. You've been with us for a couple seasons, I believe, and of course every week here. And everybody tuning in now and throughout the season. We do this for fun. Matt says it all the time on the program. This is a super hobby for us, an opportunity. We live all over the country. I wish we were in a studio, being able to hang out every day like a lot of these other shows. We're not. This is a passion project for us, and we all have regular lives and kids and careers and things going on. And it's a cool opportunity every single week for us to hang out and chill with the boys and bring you as much opportunity as we can and have some fun and enjoy some laughs. We've got to know a lot of you listeners and viewers over the years. And, some of you people are just hanging out with us on YouTube on Sundays and not involved with the articles. A lot of people comment all week long on the articles. We have banter back and forth. We've become real close with these tag names on the internet, without even knowing each other's real names, but they're not on the show necessarily on Sundays. And a lot of you go back and forth, of course. So, however you're involved with us, we appreciate your contributions and your opportunities to be a part of what we're doing. It's a lot of
Yep.
fun, and I'm sure I can speak for Jeff, Matt, and Dave as well, and Ben, our good friend in Australia, who puts in so much work behind the scenes as well with articles every week, and everybody, Gray and Rudy, as we mentioned, and Beat On, and everybody behind the scenes there as well with the team. So, Derek, I'll let you finish out here in another couple of minutes if you want to
Yeah.
give some sentiments
Well,
as well.
and speaking of long times, we got one from our buddy Bill Dino that just came in.
Perfect timing, Bill. Perfect timing. And for everybody else, we set a deadline today at about 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern. If you have a couple other questions, feel free to drop in. We're not in a rush to get out of here, but we were going to shut it down about now if we're out of questions. So feel free to jump in if you'd like to with anything else, or if you want to throw any conversation pieces, feel free to do that. Apparently, Ted McMillan is sick today. I read through the NFL today that there's about 5 or 6 players who have a bug. We have some viruses going around where I live, unfortunately, and 'tis the season. A little too much sugar, a little too less water for folks this time of year, and not enough sleep. So everyone, heal up best you can. If he cannot go, pick one in PPR. We have Burden, who I believe has been a little bit beat up himself as well. Alec Pierce, my man, finally came back, resurrected last week, and dominated with 2 tutties. Parker Washington, for whoever is going to be the quarterback again for Miami. Enjoy the off season and Happy New Year. Bill, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for being a part of our program for the last couple seasons as well. Happy New Year and happy holidays to you and yours also. For sake of conversation here, Derek, let's just say Ted McMillan is not playing, or we just don't feel comfortable with his health. Who are you going to pick here in a PPR league?
Yeah. So the first name that jumps out at me is Burden. Actually, let me pull him up. Look and see. Yeah, he's pretty active in the passing game when he plays. He didn't play last week, but the weeks that he plays, he is pretty active. He had an ankle injury, so that's why he missed the Green Bay game last week. But he's back without a injury designation this week, and Dunze is out. We talked about that earlier. So we've kind of seen a reemergence of DJ Moore, but Caleb Williams is targeted Burden quite a bit. So I actually that's my first pivot would be to Burden. All things equal, again, I'm just really leery uh, of Pierce in that situation now. How things have changed, and um, Parker Washington's kind of a distant third for me in this list. So, yeah, it's going to be. I have them the same the list that you do, Bill. I would pivot to Burden. So Yeah. Again, for sake of argument, we'll go that way. But I can confirm. Shefty says that Ted is active in to play this week. But if you do, have you if you are feeling a little queasy about this, pun intended, yeah, Burden would be my shift.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll be. I mean, you play Ted. If he's healthy, you play Ted. He's the best of these options, and they're at home, so I like it. I like it. Play Ted. Uh, but Seattle's defense is so dominant as well. I'm bringing him up here. Where are you? I just had him on here. There he is. I'm looking to double check if he did. So Alec Pierce, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, at Jacksonville, 8 targets, 5 catches, 80 yards. No touchdowns, but he had his fourth highest receiving total of the season, which I like. This game is in Indy, as we said, no weather concerns. And again, last week, the Niners and the Jags are basically neck and neck as far like middle of the pack and how they're gracious to wide receivers. Michael Pittman, I guess, is the number one because he's supposed to be, but I think Alec Pierce is just a better option. Downs is playing well, and they got to respect Jonathan Taylor, of course. Plus, we talked about Warren earlier. Last week, there was only 4 targets and 4 catches for Alec Pierce, but 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. So obviously, that's incredible efficiency. We can't expect that, but big play opportunity. He's got to gain the trust of Phillip Rivers here against Jacksonville. They're out. The Colts are out based on the Chargers or the Broncos win yesterday, but I got to think that they're still playing with some pride at minimum for the OG. So if Tet is out, which I know we're talking hypotheticals here, but if he's out, I'm pretty confidently starting Alec Pierce. Before he got injured and before Phillip Rivers took over, we were hyping Alec Pierce weekly here on the program. He was really starting to bud. I think he's going to be awesome next year, and I'm okay with Parker Washington in general, but again, another huge game for him last week. 6 catches, 10 targets, 145, yards and a touchdown. But before that, he has not been it for the last month, and Alec Pierce has. So if Tet is out or you just don't trust him, I would go with Alec Pierce personally. Just checking Tet's game logs. He was 10 targets, 6 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown last week as well. But the last 2 weeks, including the bye, or excluding the bye, I should say, 6 total targets, Derek. Now, he's scored pretty much every week in the last month, but just 4 targets against New Orleans, 2 targets before that. All these guys, I think, are a little bit of a dart throw, but obviously Tet is the clear number one. How sick is he? Just like bad pregame meal or like woke up with the flu?
I'm seeing it's just a
Holiday flu.
yes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think so too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could roll with Ted. I guess for me, I feel better overall about Pierce, but I don't think I have the stones to start him over Ted if Ted plays, obviously.
Yeah. If we had more time, we could get into strategy of playing the best player or playing matchups in a championship game and how do you lean because there's a lot of risk reward in that but we do have one more comment I want to share before we
Let's
break
get
out
into it.
here.
Happy holidays, Bill.
Our
Best of
good
luck, my man.
our good friend Bobby Goldman is of course competing for another Razzball championship. Of course he
That's right.
is.
That's right. Yeah, the Razzball Championship, which we've had questions. We've been talking. I haven't really got into the listener leagues, which I'll just kind of ramble off here as we get going. We have 3 PPR 12-team quote unquote regular leagues, and then we have the Razzball tournament. The Razzball tournament has a few hundred participants. Baseball does it as well, and Bobby Goldman here has been annually in the tops and won a few of them. I believe he's the only player ever to win a championship in both leagues. That's automatic Hall of Fame status in fantasy sports, Bob. So congratulations again on running through another one. Um, Best of luck and congratulations. And I want to take a second. He wasn't able to make it today. And a shout out to Matt Stiles as well, who took it over the last couple of years. But Matty Stiles and Dave Cruz both. I want to give a shout out. Dave primarily this year, Matt Stiles in the past, for being the head of the beast for Razzball, to orchestrate and organize and do the write ups every week and the updates and the information and talk to NFFC, our hosts. It's been pretty incredible. So I want to say thank you to both of those guys for doing what they do. I just wanted to stop by and say hello and wish you guys best of luck the rest of the season and how much we appreciate everything and listening to you guys. Bob, we appreciate you. And again, all
Yes.
the listeners and followers. So thank you so much for your
Yeah, and good luck
contributions as
today.
well.
You've got some work to do, but if anyone can pull it off, we know you can. So good luck to you today, and we'll catch you soon. And we got our one more here before we break away. I got our good buddy Scotty joining us.
I absolutely love it, Scott. Just in the nick of time, my man. I appreciate you. Huge super chat. Scott, we say this every single year, man, and I really hope that we can run into you someday, bro. Maybe we'll take a team trip out to East Coast and buy you some lunch, my man. You've been a huge contributor for years on the program, and we've been able to help a lot of kids through youth sports with your contributions and others. So we really appreciate you, Scott. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas and everything else to your family as well. And hey, shouts out to your Bills today. They got a big one against Philadelphia. All right, I'm taking Puka and JSN, um, facing Puka and JSN, which already that's a tough one this week. We need the upgrade here. So we got quarterbacks. Have Brissett, Dart, and Shuck. We need two. At running back, we have Stevenson or pay up for Samson on the waivers. This is half PR. Thanks for everything this year, Bills Army and Buck Army, Bills Mafia. Best of luck to the Bills today. Derek, we got a big one here today. We have to just assume that Puka and JSN will be Puka and JSN. So for me, I'm automatically saying, who are my shoot for the stars guy versus floors? I'm not interested in floor plays. If Puka and JSN bomb for some reason, you're probably in good shape anyway. But if they're who they are, you're probably behind the eight ball. So I'm going for updates here. This is half PPR. We need a quarterback and we need a running back. What say you?
Yeah. So of the three quarterbacks, I'm going to sit Dart. And I know there's a little risk there because he does have the legs to get in the end zone. But like I said, you need the plus matchups. Brissett's been just fantastic, and unfortunately, I'm facing him in my league. So I hate to say that, but I just think he's going to have he gives them the upside, and then so does Tyler. In fact, his last 4 games, he's averaging over 20 fantasy points per game, whereas Dart's just up and down. And I mean, he had a good stretch before he got injured, but there's just too much risk there. Again, we're looking for upside plays, and we talked about it earlier. Do the Giants come out and try to win this game? Do the Raiders? I mean, what's that scenario? Sure, they're all pros. We expect them to play like pros and compete to win. I don't think the players care about the draft picks, but they're not the ones calling the plays most of the time. So I'm just really nervous about running out Jackson Dart in where in a situation like you said that you need that plus matchup. So I'm going to go with Brissett and Tyler Shuck. And then at running back, we talked about New England and Henderson coming back, but just the expectation for us both is that Stevenson is going to carry the load today and allow Henderson to work his way back in, without putting him at any risk to be sidelined again. So I'm fine with running out Stevenson rather than going to the waiver wire at this point. So I would just stick with Stevenson.
Oh boy. Yeah, Shuck Outdoors. I mean, the I was just trying to look it up here. Give me a second. So Arizona at Cincinnati, chance of rain, but a warmer game. And you have Shuck as well at Tennessee, chance of showers with some wind. I don't love that. I wish that I wish I could just know that the Giants cared about the game. Because if this is a regular like week 9 matchup when everything matters still and you're trying, it's it's Dart probably pretty easily against the Raiders. I just don't know. Like I can't imagine that they're gonna like fold on purpose. But it's the NFL. Um, and there's a lot in stake for these guys. I want to think that Dart has more class than that, but then it comes down to weapons. And for me, I just think I trust Brissett the most against that defense. It should be a shootout with Cincinnati as well. They're going to be able to move the ball. Maybe some bad weather, but Brissett has all of his weapons right now. Harrison's back finally. Trey McBride going up against the best tight end matchup imaginable today in the championship. You might get a Derrick Henry out of Trey McBride today. So for all of you starting Trey McBride in your championship, I hope that goes crazy for you. So I'm going to go Brissett there. And then with the running back, I talked about Stevenson earlier. And I just don't think I trust Samson. Samson's fun for Dynasty. I think it'd be fun next year. I don't think I'm really concerned about Judkins. I'm not going to speculate. We'll talk about him next year, but that was absolutely gruesome. But Nick Chubb came back from a similar option, much older. So we'll see. I'm going to go with Stevenson as the running back and Brissett as the quarterback here.
Yeah,
Scott, we really appreciate you, man.
we
Best of
do.
luck. And thank you again for all your contributions always. Um, Shouts out to you. And please, man, I know we told you this last year and we missed you. But Scott, I want to personally invite you to play into our listener league. So please send us a note on X or an email at razzballfantasy@gmail if you'd like. Just send us an email or get a hold of us one way or another, man, on the articles or something. Let us know it's you. And please, we would love to just have you participate with us. And Bill, you as well. Have you participate in our leagues? And before we get out of here, Derek, we don't have any more questions, do we?
We do actually, and we have
Okay.
actually another super chat as well.
Oh, right on. Okay, cool. Isaac, you're back. Thank you, man. Appreciate the contributions too, man. Thank you so much for the super chat here. Half PPR. We are looking to start 3 or bench 1, if you will. Half PPR. Bucky, Warren, Jawan Jennings, or T. Higgins. So bench 1 here, Derek, and half PPR.
Yeah, it's either going to be one of the running backs for me. I like both Jennings and Higgins this week, so back to playing both of them on my team. So I like that even more. So it's either going to be Bucky or Warren. Honestly, I'm leaning towards benching Bucky in this. I'll slide it over to you, Sky, as I want to look up something on both of these guys as we talk. But I'm leaning sitting Bucky. That's my initial thought.
Interesting. Let's see here. I mean, against Miami, it's like the only good weather outside today. 80 degrees down in Miami. Oof. It was 22 when I woke up this morning, Derek. Um, so I'm not in Miami. Spoiler alert. Uh, um, boy, I'm trying to keep my bias out of here. I love all 4 of these guys. This is really, really tough. Jalen Warren's been absolutely on fire. Jawan Jennings is the number 1 option outside of Christian McCaffrey. It's not even close. Ricky's done. Kittle's done, at least for this week. Even if he's out there and they roll him, I know there's kind of speculation if he plays or if he should or whatever. He might be tough with an ankle roll last week. And T. Higgins is just hard to bench. against the Cardinals. I can't bench Bucky though.
I'll tell you while you're debating.
Please,
The
yeah, this is
reason I'm
really tough.
kind of leaning towards starting Warren is the fact that we, as we talked before, Metcalf is out,
Right, right.
so that's one of the primary weapons for the Steelers, and also just to slow down the pass rush, for to kind of protect
Roger.
old man
Yeah.
Rogers. So he's not he's only averaging about 11 to 12 rushing attempts. I mean, last week he had the 2 touchdowns, which was huge, but he's not really getting the same amount of workload that Bucky is, so that leans the other way. But to me, Pittsburgh's got to win this game, and they're down one of their primary weapons, and one of the the strongest things they're up against is the pass rush for the Browns. So one of the ways to neutralize that is to rush, right at them. So to me, that's more Warren than Gainwell. So my logic tells me that Warren's going to get a little bit more of a workload today than what we've seen lately. So that's why I'm kind of leaning that way.
Oh, boy. I feel actually that Jawan Jennings might be the sit, but he's the option there. Not getting a ton of work, but he scores every week. But so do the rest of these guys. And Derek, I was just pulling up the slot versus wide tool available for free at football.razzball.com to get more evidence from my boy Alec Pierce. So I feel even better about starting him. But if I look the other way on the slot tool, the Chicago Bears, let me double check. Correct. The Chicago Bears are giving up the second most fantasy points per game to the slot position. And conversely, they're giving up the 6th fewest out wide. Jawan Jennings plays out wide. Boy.
Although 40% of his fantasy points are coming from the slot.
Right. I know. And Ricky Pearsall's out. And then you have, Kittle beat up too, who's not the slot, but in that tight end middle of the field. I think it's going to be a lot of Christian McCaffrey. He's 150 yards away from being the first person to go 1,000 twice. You know who did it first, correct? We've talked about it on the program. Derek,
I can think of about 6 players that would jump out at me.
I won't hold it to you. I'm just curious if you know the first player to go 1,000.
The first. So it's pre-Marshall Faulk.
Pre-Marshall Faulk, which is everybody's first guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Late 80s.
Oh, it's got to be Roger Craig.
Roger Craig, my man. Roger Craig was the first one ever. Christian McCaffrey before Christian McCaffrey. For the kids out there, go check out my boy Roger Craig, who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I digress. Christian McCaffrey's done it also, but he is 150 away receiving to do it twice. I think there's a lot of checkdowns, and I think it also is to slow the game down. So you know what? I'm going to reluctantly do this, but I'm going to take my fandom out here. I'm actually going to not play Jawan Jennings in this game. T. Higgins, I like with the matchup against the Cardinals, and Joe Burrow here playing with some pride. Jaylen Warren and Bucky are automatics for me in their matchups and what the game script should allow. So all 4 of these guys are awesome. That's why I'm having so much trouble here. I think you can't go wrong, but I guess for me, if it's my decision, I would take Jawan Jennings out.
All right, we got a couple long times in here, so let's try to let's
knock it out. Best of luck, Isaac. All right, Jets fan, welcome back. Hey, guys, tight end position, Taysom Hill, Barner for the Seahawks, or Tungus, my boy for the 49ers here with Kittle Toast. My opponent is playing Purdy, and we are projected we're projected a tie right now. Yeah, don't worry about projections just right now. Derek, do you go with the whole receiving option versus your opponent's tight end? I used to love doing that when I had Antonio Brown and my opponent had Ben Roethlisberger or something like that. When it's the number one option, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not a big deal for me
Yeah,
necessarily.
certainly Tungus is not going to be the number one option, but we'll say, and although it wasn't Purdy under quarterback at the time, but Tungus excelled when Kittles was out. He was a really uh, strong target. So in this situation with Taysom Hill, gosh, you could either get 0.5 or 50.
Yep.
I don't want to put my championship on that. Even though the logic may seem that he's going to be more involved. Yeah, and Barner's been up and down as well, but I don't mind Tungus actually in this case, and the fact that your opponent has Purdy, whatever you get from Tungus is going to help defray that. So, uh, yeah, and if we know Kittle is essentially out, even if he plays, but I mean if he's essentially out, and I'll lean on you, Sky, for that bit of
Hmm.
knowledge. But if we know that he's going to be out, then I'm okay rolling out Tungus. And I just hate that it's the late game in the weekend. Tonight. Uh, if you're going to go that way, my only other piece of advice is find a pivot to tomorrow night with the Rams and the Falcons, if you can, if it's available. Just have something. If something changes tonight that makes Tungus not the right play, have a pivot if you can.
Yep.
Other than that, I think I'm going to roll with Tungus and see what happens.
Yeah, this is really tough. I mean, look, Taysom's awesome, and I get it. You put him on your bench, he throws for a touchdown, rushes for a touchdown, receives a touchdown because it's his last game. Like I get it. But I doubt that happens. And even if it does, it's not guaranteed. Barner's fun, but I don't know that that's going to be the option there either. Uh, I think there's a lot of running in JSN for the Seahawks. I'm okay with Tungus, but I completely agree with Derek. I was looking ahead to say what you just said. First of all, George Kittle's questionable until tonight. If anybody's going to battle through that, it's going to be George, right? But he could be a decoy as well. He could also just be a blocker, so he doesn't have to run as many routes. That could crush you there. So I'm a little bit nervous about it. So you could hold Tungus if you want. Some other options, if you can right now, what I would do, Derek, you could back me up quickly on this. I would drop Taysom Hill if I needed to make this move. I go drop Taysom Hill 4. Davis Allen has got to be available for the Rams. Terrence Ferguson, go Ducks, has got to be available for the Rams. If Kobe Parkinson isn't available, if he is, go ahead and pick him up. Colson Loveland might also be available, and Cole Kmet for the Bears could be available too. So a lot of those auxiliary, obviously Kyle Pitts is not going to be available, but a lot of those auxiliary players for the other three teams are going to be open. So great news for you. If you want to wait out Tungus, if Kittle sits, Tungus is going to be a great option. Dating back 2 months ago, he was getting 7, 8, 9 targets, just like Kittle. He scored a touchdown last week. As we know, a little toe drag swag as well. So I'm okay to go with Tungus and wait it out, but do not sleep throughout the day as you're watching football. Make sure to pick up some of these guys too if you need to. I would drop Taysom Hill. Keep Barner just in case you need him next week too if you play for some reason. But I would go pick up Kmet or Ferguson or Parkinson, obviously, if he's available. But I would pick up an auxiliary option if you needed to for Tungus. If Kittle is out tonight, then I would go with Tungus, and I feel pretty good about it.
Yep.
Best
Yep.
of luck, Jets fan.
Yeah, he's got one more defense question.
Sure.
To me, it's going to be the Saints.
Yeah,
Uh,
Saints, and the Giants. Um, I'm okay with the Saints versus Tennessee as well, but I don't know, man. I really just don't think that the Raiders are going to do anything versus the Giants, And if anyone's going to have any pride, it might be the Giants DST, you know, to I don't know,
yeah.
run up some sacks on Geno. Like, I don't think Geno's going to be too excited. Like, these guys are playing for careers too. Us as fans get it. Both teams are terrible. To look for the number one seed. Geno's at the end of his career, man. This year has not gone the way that they thought. I could see it folding a little bit, but I'd actually go with the Giants DST. I like the Saints DST better, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The Titans haven't been playing terrible lately.
No,
The
they
Raiders are the
haven't. They are
Raiders.
giving up the most sacks across on the
Yes,
year. They're giving up the most
correct.
sacks in the
Yeah,
league. But yeah, you're right. They actually are playing a little bit better. But
a little divided there. And Jets fans, shouts out to you too. I know you were a part of our Guillotine League, and like yours truly, we're bumped a bit early this year. But please come back for another listener league. We really enjoyed having you.
yeah, two more questions in the queue, and then we'll roll out.
All right, Michael. Rams Saints full PPR. Egbuka. Um, coaches say they have to get Egbuka more involved. I know they say that every week. Parker Washington or Purcell with Kittle out. I, I don't count on Ricky P either. So we got a lot to digest here. We got two DSTs we talked about just a little bit ago. Um, again, the Rams coming up on Monday night. They have Atlanta, and then the Saints we just talked about, and then we have wide receiver position as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing the Saints. I don't. In actually, we picked them up for our playoff run, and I'm rolling with the Saints. It worked out really well last week, and I just mentioned the Titans give up the most sacks in the league, so I like that. But I don't mind that matchup with the Rams have with the Falcons as well. Kirk Cousins is not necessarily the mobile quarterback, in his own right, and I think the Rams could. The Rams are certainly going. I just expect them to steamroll the Falcons, but I don't think you can really go wrong here, honestly, with either one. Uh, and you can't predict uh, touchdowns for defenses at all. So uh, go with whichever one you feel better with, Michael. Again, I don't think you can go wrong. I'd probably, for me, I would lean the Rams, just because they're a better squad and they've got a lot to play for, and they should be a lot more motivated defensively just to put up a donut. Frankly, to guarantee them a chance at the number one slot. So I'd probably lean the Rams, but I don't think you can go wrong either way. Yeah, and then as far as the other goes, I mean, Ibuka's just disappeared, and I hate to say that. He's just,
It's true.
yeah, he just has, and uh, like Sky said, Pearsall, he's supposed to play through his injuries and Kittle out. I could see why that might be an option, but he just hasn't come back, like we expected this year, and I don't see that this week would be the week that we would just see that all come back. So I don't mind going Parker Washington in this case. Again, the Jaguars are rolling, and I mean he got 10 targets last week. He
Yeah,
had a
he's
big
been on
monster
fire,
week, but yeah,
140 yards.
and
So.
prior to that, he's getting 4 to 5, averaging about 4 to 5 targets. But he's translating them, and he's got touchdowns in 3 of the last 6 weeks. So yeah, I think Parker Washington is probably the safest play out of these 3 wide receivers. So I'll go Parker Washington.
Likewise, I'm with you. I'm going to go Rams here against Atlanta in Atlanta, but again, it's indoors. I feel good about that. Just a safe game for the Rams. So much on the line for them with seeding and everything. Keeping an eye on the 49ers and Seahawks. And then I'm going to go with Parker Washington pretty comfortably. Now, would I love Egbuka to have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns and all of us to be pissed that he's on our bench in championships? Absolutely, because at least we're a little bit more confident coming into next year. But he has disappeared. I've been playing him for 2 months like everyone else. He's been dragging down my team. I can't have it in the championship. Parker Washington's got the floor and the ceiling, and we were worried about Quinn Ewers. Parker Washington went off. So I'm going to kick with that with some great weather. And again, I don't trust Ricky P there either. Um, very much welcome for everything, and appreciate you. Happy holidays and happy New Year to you, my man, as well, Michael. Thank you so much.
All right,
Got another one here for
yeah,
epic fail.
yeah. So we can already, we've already talked about dropping Taysom Hill for some of these other options. So we can maybe make quick work of this one. To me, it's either going to be Parkinson or Tungus. So I would lean Parkinson. If he's available to you, he's going to be a number one, and then Tungus would be my second.
Same, but Parkinson just bombed huge, which is really tough to like come back from. I'm biased as a Niner fan. This isn't going to help you out, Epic Fail, because we're going to be divided. I kind of like the Tungus slash drop Taysom Hill and go pick up, other options. I mean, you can wait though through Sunday because you have Parkinson. I love that, right? So I would personally go with Tungus Monday night, or I'm sorry, tonight. Um, if Kittle's out. If Kittle plays, you're not playing Tungus, obviously, and I would go Parkinson, so you're okay there. Either way, I'm not going with Kincaid against Philly today or Taysom Hill. It's just too
Yep,
risky for me.
agreed. And then one more.
All right, Kevin. Start one here with a QB, running back, excuse me, two flex from these options. Ramondre Taysom, a lot of Taysom love. I love it. Ramondre Taysom, Monungai, Burden, Coker, Loveland, and Pearsall, who's questionable.
Yeah, that's a good one. So the running back to me is going to be Ramondre. We've talked about him quite a bit today, and we both expect him to get the workload. So I'm gonna roll with Ramondre Stevenson in the running back position. Um, Kyle Monangai is an interesting play for me, and so is Burden, and then so is Loveland. So you got three Bears here. And
Yeah.
um, I like Coker, but I just don't. He just I expect him to be a better option for us next year. Honestly, he took a step forward, or at least showed some opportunity there this year, but he's still probably a year away from being in our championship week roster. So it's going to be the two of the three Bears, and to me, it's going to be Monungai and Burden are going to be the two for me that stand out. How are the Niners against tight ends? Oh, they're bottom
Well,
10.
they are bottom. They are bottom 10 currently. They were much better, obviously, with Fred Warner in there.
Yeah, yeah, and as an aside, I heard that there's a chance that he might actually be back for the playoffs.
Let's not jinx that. Let's not jinx that, Derek. We'll talk about that in a couple weeks. God, that'd be great.
Yeah. So Loveland's consistently getting 4 to 6 targets. I mean, very, very
Right.
consistently 4 to 6 targets, and that's translating to 7 to 10 fantasy points. To me, that's just not going to cut it for. I want some upside, and he's consistent, and he's just not there for me. Whereas Burden, yeah, he's north of he's double digit fantasy points the last 2 weeks, averaging 6 to 7 targets. This is we don't know if this is PPR, but yeah, so that just kind of strengthens my thought. Ramondre, Monungai, and Burden are going to be my three.
Yeah, and Trevion is officially active this week, so he's going to play. But I'm going to stick with Ramondre. I just think that I don't know if I'm Vrabel. There's just so many reasons I want to give him more work, and he already has wanted to give him more work all season. So I'm going to go with Ramondre there as well. And then I agree with you about Burden and Monungai. I think those are the two best options going to get the most work against the 49ers.
All right, good luck to you, Kevin. We're rooting for you.
Good
And
luck,
that's all.
Kevin.
Yep, that's all we've got, Scott.
All right. I just want to give a quick shout out, and we're going to get out of here. So if any last minute questions, feel free to get us before we get those championships in PPR one. You know who you are if you're in that league, in the PPR one league in the championship. We have the number 2 seed, Duncan Sheik. Shout out to the 90s. Duncan Sheik first, the number 4 seed, Jefferson Kezar of the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. So we have the number 4 seed, Jefferson, our own, against Duncan Sheik, the number 2 seed in the championship at PPR 1. Best of luck to both of you. In PPR 2, we have the number 1 and number 2 seeds. Number 1, Pepe Silva 2, and number 2 seed, Loafin' It. Best of luck to both of you as well. And in the PPR 3 league, we have Captain Whoopass, which is just one of the best fantasy names of all time. Number 2 seed, and number 6 coming in from the wild card slot, Skull NN. NH. I have to believe that's Skull in New Hampshire. We love to see that, bringing her fandom all over the country. So let me double check. I believe this is true. The number 2 seed, Derek, in all 3 leagues made it to the championship. I love
Nice.
to see that. They got that bye week, got the semi win, and head in there. So shouts out to all of our listeners, the 36 of you that were in our listener leagues, and of course, everybody in the Razzball tournament. Best of luck to everybody. Let's come back next week. We'll have a show for you. Just to come up, if nothing else, we'll come up and banter a little bit in week 18 for those of you that accidentally have championships. And of course, we will be with you all off season. So stick with us. Tell your friends, tell your family, enjoy some football. Best of luck to your NFL teams. Best of luck to your college teams, of course, coming up with some big wins as well. And of course, keep it tuned here to the Razzball Fantasy Football Show for all the boys, Matt, Jeff, and Dave on a bye week. From my man Derek after a long vacation, much needed. Bless Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody, and Happy New Year, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Best of luck. We'll see you again. We are out of here at the Razzball Fantasy Football Show.